Hi, welcome back to English 111 Online. This week, view the lecture video for the week. I really hope y'all are doing that. I know some are doing it, but I don't think everybody's doing it. And it really kind of walks you through all the steps for the week and keeps you from getting so confused. But anyway, I hope you're viewing the video for this week. If you are listening to me right now, you are indeed viewing the video. Review Core Project 1, the Rhetorical Analysis Assignment Document. We have looked at this a couple of times already, and that document, I have supplied it for you on the Moodle page again, so it's the same one. You're choosing one of these three assigned essays here to write about. You're looking for rhetorical devices or choices that the author has made to get her point across. And I've told you and given you instruction in how to find what the actual point that each one of these authors is making. And I've given you some examples of some of the rhetorical devices that has been used in both of these. So I hope that that is helpful to you. Also, this week, review how to write a rhetorical analysis. We've looked at this before also, but this is going to be even more important this week because you're going to complete your complete rough draft. Now, this is just the rough draft. We're going to have time to revise it and make it better. In fact, the final essay turned in for a grade won't be until before midnight on October the 6th. But I don't want you to let it sneak up on you and you've run out of time. That's why I'm requiring you to do it a little bit at a time. I hope you've been following that. It has a review of MLA format and how to set that up. And then it has step-by-step what you need to put in it. Here's the information for the introduction paragraph that you did for last week. And then now we are ready to write the body paragraphs. You can have 2 to 3 of these. The assignment only requires you to have 2. If you want to have 3, that would be fine. Depending on how many rhetorical devices or choices that the author has made, it will depend on how many body paragraphs you have. But let's look at what we want for the body paragraph. Body paragraph should be about one particular rhetorical device and how it is used in the essay. It should begin with a topic sentence. Now, we have talked about topic sentences before. So a topic sentence that explicitly states what the rhetorical device is and what using it accomplishes in the essay. The choice, that's why I'm alternating rhetorical device with rhetorical choice that the author makes. Why did she use this? How does this help her make her point? That's what the essay is all about. Use a transition word at the beginning of your topic sentence to help guide your reader, remind him or her of the thesis statement. Remember, we're writing for someone else to read it. So keep in mind, they need this guidance to help them understand it. For example, one rhetorical device the authors use is anecdote. That would be for my sample that I was giving. For the next body paragraph, you could start with another rhetorical device. And that is important too, to help the reader follow what you're writing about using those transitions. After you have your topic sentence and it's clearly stated which rhetorical choice you're talking about that the author made, then you're going to support that with textual evidence. Now, what I would like to do too is add in there between your topic sentence, suppose you mention rhetorical question as a choice that the author made, a rhetorical choice or a rhetorical device that she used. Explain to your reader what a rhetorical question is, just a little short definition of it, or anecdote, or any anything else. If you mention that she chose a particular point of view, make sure that you explain to your reader what that is, because your reader may not know what it is. You know what it is, but you want to make it clear to the person who's reading what you're writing. And then you're going to support it with textual evidence. That is, you're going to bring in evidence from the article that you're writing about, and you're going to share that with the person who's reading your essay. So keep in mind, again, the person who's reading your essay has not read the article, has not had the benefit of any kind of thought process on it. So you've got to make it very clear to your reader what you're talking about, and textual evidence is what's going to back that up. Now, when you put in evidence from the text, whether it be a quotation, and if it is a quotation, remember to put it in quotation marks, whether it be a paraphrase, whether you've basically used the same language that the author used, but you changed the words just a little bit, or if you're doing a summary, as in my sample essay when I did the summary of the anecdote about the little boy wearing barrettes to school. Whether it's direct quote, paraphrase, or summary, you still need to cite where you got that from in the text of your essay. And that is going to be part of the MLA two-part process of having in-text citation, which is going to refer the reader back to the Works Cited page where you're going to put your entry for the article that you're writing about. So you have to let them know. Now, in our essay, in the introduction, you've already introduced your reader to the article and to the author. They already know who you're talking about, and they know which article you're talking about that the author wrote. So all you have to do after that is just refer to the page number that you found that information on. You can refer to my sample essay that I shared with you, and you can see how I did it in that sample essay, or how Cindy Lou Who did it. She's the one who wrote it, not me. All right, so anytime that you put this information in here, you need to let your reader know this is not your analysis, this is not your commentary, this is not your words. These are ideas that you got from the text itself. And so you need to make what some people call a quote sandwich. In other words, the top layer of bread in the quote sandwich needs to be introductory. Some people call that a signal phrase, an attributive tag, but it lets the reader know that this is not your words. So you could say something like, according to the essay, or the author states, or something else that just alerts your reader to know this is not your example, this is something you got from the actual text that you're writing about. After you introduce it, then of course you need to put in the page number in parentheses, in-text citation. Some people call it a parenthetical citation because it is in parentheses. And again, see my sample essay for how that is done. And then you're not finished. You have introduced it, you have cited it, and now you have to explain it or elaborate on it, because your reader doesn't know why you chose that example. You have to tell them, you have to explain to them how this example that you pulled from the text actually helps the author make her point in this. And so sometimes I refer to this as icing your textual evidence. So introduce it. Be sure after you put the information in there, you cite it with the in-text citation, and then you explain it. That's the icing that I'm talking about. All right, so use transition words to guide your readers through your examples. So you could say like, One place the author uses this rhetorical choice in her essay is so-and-so. And then another example of this is so-and-so. So you're going to use those transitions again to make it easy for your reader to follow and understand the material as well as you do. All right, after you get your 2 body paragraphs in there, you're going to have your conclusion. Your conclusion, you're going to begin with a restatement of your thesis statement, not word for word. It's not like a song refrain. It is just, but reminding your reader of the point that you are making to begin with. So restate your thesis and remind your reader of the rhetorical devices that you mentioned. Very often when you're taking a speech class and you're learning how to present material in a public speaking atmosphere, the good advice is tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And that same principle applies to writing an essay. So in the introduction, you've told them what you're going to tell them. In your body paragraphs, you've told them. And now in the conclusion, you're going to remind them of what you told them. That's just good technique. It makes your reader understand your point better. And that's what the whole process of writing well is, so that somebody else can understand as well as you understand. So remind your reader of the rhetorical devices, and then you end your conclusion with a very broad statement that gives maybe the reader something to think about. Don't take it off in a new direction, but keep it focused. What I did was, in the sample essay that I did, I started with that old saying of snips and snails and puppy dog tails and narrowed that down to the focus of the point of the author was that gender is flexible. And so when I ended it, I just brought it back to that snips and snails and puppy dog tails and said some people are neither sugar, spice, and all things nice, nor snips and snails and puppy dog tails. Sometimes they're sugar-coated snails. And just something to think about, yeah. And not everybody's the same. And that takes it back to that idea of gender flexibility there. Once you finish your conclusion, you are going to insert in your document, insert a page break to take you to a separate page where your works cited page is. You're going to center works cited because it's a title, just like you centered your title on the beginning of the essay. And you're going to put in information that lets your reader know, okay, this was something written by Ferry and Wade, How to Do Gender. I want to see, where did they get this essay from? So that's what the works cited entry does. And you can see here is the citation of Jamaica Kincaid's Girl. Here's the citation for Ferry and Wade's How to Do Gender. And because your essay is taken from this same book, your citation will be the exact same as this. The only thing you're going to change is your author. You're going to change your title from How to Do Gender to Serving in Florida, or whatever it is that you're doing. And then you're going to change your page numbers here at the end. It is also done in a hanging indent, as you can see here. And what this does is, if we were doing our research paper, now we're not, we only have one citation for this essay, but when we get to our research essay, it's going to, and you'll have multiple sources, it's going to be really important for you to note that this comes in alphabetical order, and that you always want to make sure that your reader can identify which source it goes to. This time we don't have to worry about that because we only have one source. which is the essay that you're writing about. Okay, so now after doing all of that, you'll have your rough draft. It is rough. It is not meant to be finished. It is meant to be worked on. So what we're going to do is once you get your rough draft all together and you're ready to get some feedback on it and you're ready to start thinking about it and revising it, I want you to submit your essay to Smart Thinking. I've got the instructions on here submitting to Smart Thinking. If you pull that up, you'll see it is a step-by-step process showing you what to do to submit to Smart Thinking. It has screenshots of the process and everything. So that will be helpful to you. As it says here, read this document for step-by-step how to submit to Smart Thinking. I think it's a good document and it will help you. And then you're going to see this. Here is a link for you to submit to Smart Thinking. You need to go ahead and do that sometime this week, because next week will be more revision on your document. This week you're getting your rough draft together and getting some feedback from Smart Thinking. Next week you're going to be applying that feedback and revising your document and making it as good as it possibly can. Usually you'll get information back from them in 24 to 48 hours. So if you're ever using Smart Thinking for anything in any other class in the future, you want to make sure that you allow enough time to get it back before you have to turn in your document. We're not going to turn in our final essay on this until before midnight on Sunday, October 6th. So we'll have this week to put the rough draft together, and we'll have next week to revise it and work on it and submit the final October the 6th. When you get your Smart Thinking feedback back, you will get an email notification saying that they received your essay, and you will get an email notification saying that they have given you feedback and how to get that feedback. And it's step by step. They tell you exactly step by step how to go through and get the feedback. Once you get the feedback, I want you to copy the feedback and paste it into this journal. So this journal, when you click on it, it says the same thing. Copy and paste your Smart Thinking feedback into your journal, into the journal that you're going to create. Here, remember, you always click on Start the Journal. And then at the end of that, and after you've read through that, add a couple of sentences at the end explaining how you used, if you've already applied it to your essay, or how you plan to use that Smart Thinking feedback to revise your essay. Maybe you got feedback that your introduction wasn't well developed enough. Maybe somebody pointed out you should have let somebody know what the name of the article is or essay that you're writing about. So just whatever the feedback that you get from them, please say how you're going to use it to improve your essay. And then you submit the journal, and you'll get 100 for doing that. So we want to get these easy hundreds, but I also want you to get the feedback so that you can use it next week as we revise. So that's all for this week. Back to the Moodle page, there is some extra information that I've put on this week's tab for commas. Commas seem to be the thing that is bothering us the most as we're writing, as far as those little technical things like putting commas in the right place. And in this case, this is just extra information. You already have information in your little Seagull handbook. You already have information available through working on your inquisitive exercises, but this is more information if you feel like you need it This is just something to review. Nothing for a grade, nothing, no exercises here. It's just more information about commas, if you feel like you need it. Okay, well, that's it for this week. I hope you will contact me if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.